Yo, it's Guido coming at you with the Tactics Talk. Welcome back, everybody. Man, do I have a good one for you. We have Zero, who says, get ready in the middle for the cross. He's already trying to help out his team a little bit. He's in a two-tier battle in his M46 Patton, a Tier 9 American medium tank. Great gun depression, decent turret, pretty good accuracy. And what are we going to talk about this time? Well, I recently featured a battle on this map with myself and another player. So it is the same map, but we're going to talk about really good players. So I'm going to pause it here for just a second. Zero is a exceptionally good player. He's from clan Mao, I don't know, whatever they are. But I've run into Zero, I think over the years several times, at least recently, I've definitely noticed his name, and I think I've seen it for quite a long time. And it is always better when he's on my team as far as I'm concerned. Very good player. This is a 3-mark game. You will notice that his M46 is currently 2-marked, and he will get a 3-mark out of this. And it is a fantastic game, but it illustrates a lot of great things, good learning for everybody, about positioning, reacting to the fight, shot selection, and fighting more than one enemy at once, as well as deciding where you're going next before you even start going there. So let's just get going on this because Zero's going to have a fantastic game. And what's really interesting here is it doesn't start out great. It starts out pretty average, in fact. He's going to miss a shot here. Gets a couple RNG bad rolls, and then the RNG starts cooperating with him pretty nicely. Got the GSOR coming up here. Do not misinterpret that as me saying RNG made the game happen for him. It is absolutely not. It is about positioning and your decision making, and then RNG is just one of those things you have to deal with along with everybody else. He comes up to the FV. Now, this is a great spot where he is right here. Gonna have to mess around with my mouse so I can get my zoom back. There we go. Great spot he's using right here. He's got the depression to use it. The tank can climb up this little edge, and guess what it does? It protects him as much as possible from 3RD. Now, a lot of people will look at very good players and say, well, they're only good because they camp behind everybody. Well, here's a great example of a very good player not camping behind everybody. As a matter of fact, he's going to the controlling early ground of the game, which I showed in my last video where I was playing. And this time he's doing it with a medium with good spotting. Took a few shots on guys who were crossing. A little bit of early damage is always good, and then starts to help control the middle, punishing guys who are trying to go up onto the carry. All right, we are back. Hey, Wargaming, your client is really getting touchy lately. I'm telling you what. All right, back to it. GSOR goes up onto the carrier, and we have Zero still punishing guys in the middle, looking for a shot on the Sheridan. Comes up, auto-aims the FE and takes him down. Auto-aims the FE and takes him down. Auto-aim is a great tool when used in the right place, and that was a great opportunity for him to do it. A couple things he was doing with that. So he has the zoom out so he can look at more of the playing field. He uses, as he zooms out, he uses the cursor to put it on, or the dot, the pointing arrow, pointing dot, whatever you want to call it, to put it on the FE, and then right-clicks, and then as he drives up, he looks around. And the assumption, obviously, is if there's too much, or maybe there's two guys waiting to blap him, he doesn't take that shot. But as long as it looks good, he comes on up, allows the auto-aim to take that guy down, and down goes Widowmaker 15. Now he's looking for a shot on the GSOR. He's glad he bounced for sure, but look how he backs down and just kind of goes hold down on this guy. It makes it as difficult as possible for him to hit him, and then just slides one in there, drops one onto the GSOR, and the GSOR is probably a little bit irritated right about now. He's minimized his exposure to the GSOR. Takes a look over there, and I want you to note that right there, because that's very important. How did he know those guys were there? He knew those guys were there because he was watching his mini-map, and he was looking for shots, and he spun around and said, you know what, I might have a shot on one of these guys back here behind me, because I know there are openings in that road up on the high area. This is fighting more than one direction at once, and it's something that good players do, and everybody out there should be trying to practice that kind of thing. Look for your shots. Try to create your shots. Don't just sit around waiting for shots to come to you. So he's going to take a look. It's not there, that's fine, but he investigated it. That's something I talk about. At least investigate it. See if you're getting a highlight. See if you can see those guys. Because the other part of this is he is a bit of a precarious situation if the South loses, because they're going to start having shots on him. So look where he's going. He bails on that, and that's why. Well, the Sheridan gets a shot in his side, and that's unfortunate. He's got to keep going because now the 430 sees him. Look at that. He's already taken some pretty big hits. He's at 1,100 damage. Gets a little tangled up with his buddy. Fortunately, the T10 misses. And that's important what just happened there. The T10 missed, so he took the time to zoom in and take a nice shot on the T10. But now he's in a bit of a pickle. He's really got to run back this way and attempt to just save himself for the moment, because that place he was in was a bad place to be. That turned into a bad place, and now he is over. Look at him. He's going to tuck right, try to minimize as much as possible. The guy's up on top shooting him, because that T-49 object and whatever else it is up there has just taken down their only defender, which I believe was the E-30 up there. So now it would be really nice if he could get rid of these guys in the middle. He's got a Sheridan and a couple others probably. I think he actually finds, there he goes, he finds the T-50 who's unaware, puts a shot into him, and then backs out. Nice high roll at 459. And then the artillery starts raining on him, and he moves back and out of the way. One thing you'll notice with Zero, when he disappears from Artie, he does it for a long time. And that's probably a good idea. I tend to not wait long enough. This way the Artie will not time you moving back out. Especially if one had just aimed in and said, well, I wonder if old Zero is going to come back. And then they say, ah, screw it, I'll just fire one in there. A lot of times if you move too early, you'll walk right back into the next guy taking a shot. So he has lost this entire south area. Again, a bit of a pickle. It's 2-2. He's lost about half his hit points. So he's going to have to be very careful. And that was a good kill. Getting rid of the Sheridan was extremely important. So it looks like Zero's going to come up here. He's going to start looking around. And remember, when you're playing this game, you want to react. And that was a nice reaction. You saw the T-50, spins up there, takes a shot, looks forward, puts his turret forward, and then backs on out of here. He actually spins around so he can go faster because he's worried about artillery. Now we've got a 140 looking down here. And thank goodness he doesn't see him. He didn't take that shot. Now he's taking a look, and boom, right into him right there. And now he's spotted, unfortunately. Now watch what he does here. He keeps going until that takes a shot on the run, because why not? But he's headed for this cover, because he knows that's there, and that stops this guy from shooting him. Watch what he does here. He stops, spins around, waits for a bit, finds somebody else to shoot. Give you what he's looking at. So he's covered up on the 140, and this is the fighting more than one guy at once, one guy at a time. Sees the T-49, covers up against the 140. Poor T-49 is forced to stop, and now he eats another shot. And I'm not sure if he's spotted from above right there. And now we're going to do a pretty good job of picking apart the 430. 430 is a little bit crossfired right there, unfortunately for him. It looks like he can't go too far forward or suffer the shots of the Badger and the STB and maybe artillery. And potentially, if Zero can get around here, he can start shooting this guy in the back. There's a nice one. He let it fully zoom and sat there for a potato and took a shot. I don't know if it's actually more accurate if you wait. The numbers say no. There are some people who believe that. But at the very least, let it zoom in all the way. Boom. And there you go. Takes down. Oh, it's probably one of the more dangerous tanks on the map. And now we've got the 907 to worry about. Of course, there's a Patton running around somewhere as well. Fortunately for Zero's team, the Patton has decided, at least up to this point, to camp. Now he shows up. Now watch what he does. Here's what Zero does. As soon as he sees that Patton and he has two lights over here, he immediately goes this way to help take this guy down. Ideally, there's no one with him, but he's going to move this way, and it turns out there is nobody with the Patton. Patton makes a foolish overexposure. Zero comes in. Guy's really not paying attention. Takes a hit. Misses Zero. Zero backs up. Doesn't immediately go forward. Probably worried a little bit about artillery right there, and he's waiting for his friends to get sorted out. There goes the 13-105. That probably means the guy is reloaded. Zero pushes in. And maybe I think he might have, had he been able to do it again, wanted to cut left, but this was a good move to make sure he didn't come around this way. Comes around, nails that dude once, and down goes the M48 Patton, and that was a very important, good kill right there. Pretty typical of camping players. When they do push out, they usually make a bad decision on where to go and how to do it. So that guy gets isolated and taken down, and now Zero is moving back. We've got a 907 who, again, inexplicably just drives through the middle. Zero comes up here, and this is a very interesting sequence. So there's a Patton up top, and he gets nailed. He didn't know the object 704 was there. Oftentimes, I'll run into this as well late game. You see the guy has been camping for a long time. You sort of assume he hasn't moved, but sometimes they'll get on their horse, and that guy drops a big hit at 779, which is a slight high roll. Thank goodness he didn't get another 36 out of it. If he'd got up to 800 or so, that would have been the end of Zero. So Zero takes the hit, looks at what it is. The guy has fired. So he waits, nice zoom, gets in, and then covers up because he's worried about artillery. Now he's going to fight two people, and this was really good. This is just a knowledge of reload speeds. Did you see that object stopped and was starting to zoom in? That meant he was probably pretty close to reloaded, if not reloaded. But as long as he's moving, that disbursement circle, dispersion circle, whatever it is huge. And when he stops, it starts to decrease. But for a TD like that, it takes a long time, and Zero's going to be able to shoot with a better shot much faster than the 704. He may have actually still been inside his reload cycle. I wasn't counting, but that's, again, another skill that you have as a good player that you need to develop, as well as have a general idea of how long the reload is so that you can get inside the reload cycle. He actually got 2 shots off. Now, unfortunately, the one missed because he didn't really wait to go fully zoomed. You'd have to be careful about that. But he accepted what was probably a decent shot, and it's too bad it didn't go in. So that was one of the few times RNG failed him. And this is the fighting two people, which he's done several times now, right? He was back fighting the 704, and then he went straight over here and said, let me help them finish off the 907. So we've kept two guys kind of busy. The 704 wasn't able to put too many shots onto the guys taking out the 907 because Zero kept them busy for a few potatoes. And it's that last Starfighter idea, if you've ever seen that movie where it goes into the Death Blossom, right? Where you're shooting in every direction. This is the idea that you want to do, is try to engage as many guys in as many directions as possible. You've got to have a focus while you're doing it. But it complicates their movements and their shots as well. So the 704 takes down for whatever reason, the scout just goes straight across. And Zero's able to drop 2 more on this 704. Absolutely just working over that 704. And down he goes because the Type 49 was smart enough to go around the back. Now all we've got to do is find a 268 and a couple artillery. Now, coming up is a sequence I thought that was kind of interesting, and maybe the only place that I disagreed with what he was doing. But he'll have to sing out down there in the comments about what his ideas were here. The 268 is going to show up back with the artillery and the STB-1 and the Type 4. And it may be as simple as he knew there was quite a few back there, and they were going to have to deal with the 268. Because earlier he mentioned, hey, we need to go get the artillery. Now, it looks like the 268 fired, and the STB-1 is probably going to get 2 shots, maybe 3, and it looks like the STB-1 is maneuvering. So Zero just says, all right, you guys, you have that. And sometimes you just have to count on your teammates to do the right thing and get her done, and that's exactly what happened right there. So for me, I may have actually started moving back that way just to make sure that guy died and then headed after artillery, but there you go. He'd have to let us know. I suspect he just figured, now we're going to look into the hold of this wrecked boat. I don't know what he's looking for. Maybe somebody's hiding there. Maybe there's a setter in there somewhere. I don't know. And he's going to come on up here, and it's just all over but the shout, and the T-49 gets in there and starts finding artillery. He comes up here. He's got HE loaded, which, bloody heck, HE. I can't believe he wasn't spotted right there. That actually kind of blows my mind. I don't know if the spotting point on the 53, 55 just wasn't high enough, or maybe the crew was that bad, or a combination. That was very strange. And then he's still not lit, and there's a 261 like right here. Yeah. How did I? I'm still a little bit. I have no idea what happened there. No, I have no earthly clue. Double bushed, I guess, and just couldn't see through to the other side of the double bush. It takes him down with HE. What did he roll? He rolled a 464 with HE. I never rolled that with HE. I'd have rolled 36 and bounced off his gun or some such. T-49, unfortunately, is not doing a very good job here. And then the T-49 only gets 260 on his giant 152 millimeter derp, or 150, whatever it is. Zero's going to come up here. The other artillery shows up there in the south. Zero comes up, just auto aims. Again, that's a good skill to have right there. There was no real fear of missing that shot at that range with the accuracy of this gun, so you can use auto aim in that case to expedite the shot or the kill. And that's it. He doesn't actually get this. I thought he headed that way. That's another great player skill. It's one artillery. The STB probably has him, but I do the same thing. I keep driving towards the hit points because maybe the 53, 55 kills the STB and you get some more hit points. Just W all the time towards the hit points in situations like this anyway. Obviously, if you need to cap to win, then do your thing. But in general, when you're doing cleanup, W towards the hit points and go get at least another shot. If you can, at least try. So that was a great game, man. 7,478 damage, 534 assists. And an excellent example of a good player using a tank at the right point, controlling the critical terrain, and then when things started going sour, reacting to the actual fight, not staying and dying in place, and moving around and putting out fires as you went. Dealing with the Patton, covering up against the guys that won in the south, then dealing with the Patton, then dealing with the 907 as he came in, and how he handled the 140 a little bit earlier. All of that stuff all added together, and you've got a guy who has 3-marked a tier 9 medium tank. I'll show you the results after this. So, I mean, if you're going to 3-mark it, you might as well do it with a 7,478 damage game. Obviously, that's a long road. It takes a while to do that. Some people do it faster than others, but generally somewhere around 100 battles, maybe less if you're very, very good. So that last game doesn't represent the entirety of him 3-marking it. He's had a lot of good games up to that point. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I hope you learned a little bit of something here on this Masters class with 00. Thanks for sending this in. Very good gameplay right there, and I think valuable for everybody. That is all I've got. We will see ya.